So, where we left off, the party had just finished having a very long talk in a bath, eating contest where Darcy puked, Dowry and Inyi discussing after a big truth or dare complex, Effie is sad. Let's begin. As you guys are finishing up your dessert, as Effie just eats her chocolate lava cake, all sad and depressed looking.
She is good at hiding it, okay? She's just fiddling with her hair.
Actually, to be fair, you guys straight up, based off what you guys rolled, shouldn't be aware of it.
Yeah, I got a 20%, nat 20 in my deception.
Yeah, neither of you beat a 20, so you guys aren't actually aware there is something particularly wrong with Effie.
Well, it depends. Just because you can't make it out doesn't mean that you don't know that anything's wrong.
That's fair.
Would it?
Nah, it's okay. She's hiding it that well.
She's hiding well. You know there's something wrong, you just don't know it's depression.
That's sad.
I'll give you that.
So that's when I went. So that's when I went up to the guy and I said to him, "Listen, I got two options for you. You can either go do the job like you're told to, or you can bend over and suck my fucking dick because I'm not paying you 50 gold just so I can cross your goddamn bridge, you fucking troll."
Wasn't it an actual troll?
Yeah. And then he got really mad at me and started shaking his club, and I was like, I should probably leave. So I did.
Yeah, typically inviting trolls, whether or not jokingly, for fellatio typically doesn't go very well.
You know, just for funnos, and as you, Darcy, tell that story, the troll in the place with you guys gives you a funny look. Because he's right over here.
Ozen speaks generally quietly. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, Darcy doesn't.
I just look over, I'm like, this guy was a giant dick. Tried to rub me.
Goes back to eating his purple worm steak.
Yeah, that's it. You have to do the handle things.
Uh...
Effie, you didn't insult me during the story. I'm surprised. Are you okay?
Spoon in her mouth gives you an odd look, like, huh? And then slips the spoon out.
I don't normally comment on your story.
No, but you usually have at least a look or something. You okay? You seem a little... You stopped kind of engaging there. You okay?
Oh, I'm probably just a little tired.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can head back if you want.
Yeah, no, like, I know this is quote-unquote my day, but, you know, if you feel the need to get some rest, we all could, really.
She looks between the two of them and then makes her way off the seat and is just...
Well, that doesn't sound like all that bad of an idea, but I'll just head off on my own. Don't let me interfere.
Wait, no! I want you here. I mean, I'm sure the both of us do. All four of us, really. I mean, I know that they were kind of a bit on a delivery mission, but I personally would really enjoy it if you stayed.
Hey, your company is enjoyable.
In the event that she kind of like had gotten up and kind of walked away, again, if Effie would allow it, Ozen would kind of like lightly grab her forearm.
There's a flicker, confusion, then uncertainty, and then back to the neutral politeness as she's like,
Oh no, it's alright. Do not feel the need to keep me here. Everyone here is having a great deal of fun, and I don't want to bring down the mood with my exhaustion.
When you say that,
I mean, honestly,
just say, and he kind of looks at me, Miss Effie, if you is not feeling well, I mean, I could take you back on the car. to in if you prefer, but she just kind of comes up because I really like having the girl talk with you, and I really enjoy hanging out with you, Effie. She kind of just whispers in your ear.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really insistent on resting, but you don't necessarily want to, lie down, if you'll have Inye's company, alternatively, maybe that could be pleasant.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a wee bit tired myself.
Oh, probably from all the meat you ate there, Mr. Darcy.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as soon as the wooziness from my head injury from earlier, thank you, by the way, Effie, I'm pretty sure now I'm just feeling the wooziness of having moved alongside so much. My arms feel a little bit better after the bath, but now I'm a little... Ugh.
Well,
Glances to all the food on the table in the back at them again. It's just like,
well, if you are certain you are tired as well, then
Well, if you are tired, the only things I could do is give you a ride back on the cart. After all, we have finished for today's deliveries.
And I've got a shit. What did I name my camel?
Steve, wasn't it?
No, that was the paladin's
that was
horse.
the paladin's horse.
Didn't you think it was Simon?
Simon, thank
yeah.
you. Not to mention
Wow,
Ramsey.
why don't I remember fucking animal names on people names? Anyway,
I don't know.
uh,
I got Simon if you want to take a ride on him.
are you sure that the two of you are actually tired, though? You mentioned the circus, and you both seemed excited for.
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not. I've seen the. Well, I haven't seen the circus. I've seen the play they're talking about, and I'm not. It's a little drawn out, and it's honestly, like, if you want to ask me, just more. It's more along the lines of propaganda than like an actual epic tale. Like, if you actually look at the narrative structure, it's just,
and as for me, well, I was, to be 100% honest, I was going to push, but if not everyone's going to be there, then I don't really see the point.
Were you interested in going?
I was, maybe it's just,
Dowry looks up and goes, well, to be fair, it is still early in the afternoon. The play is not till the evening. You have time to take the nap and go see the play after if you wish.
That is true. Maybe that could be arranged. I'm still kind of getting used to sleeping on a rather nice bed, and given what we've been provided with, that is very much the case.
Hey, we do have to thank Mr. Winchester for that.
But yeah, I was wanting to maybe see a play or go towards the circus or something nearby, but I wanted the both of you to be there. And sorry if that's like selfish or anything. I just kind of looks down, kind of darting his eyes back and forth as he tries to find the word. I like hanging out with you all.
Yeah, it's not. You two are pleasant company.
with the state of mind, I'm gonna have Effie do an insight check on Ozin.
Okay.
Good insight. I mean, I believe Ozin was telling the truth, so Ozin, I mean...
Yeah, I know that. It's just like, is she going to think that, though?
I would say with that good of an insight, you would know. I mean, you'd have to roll below a 10, honestly, if you can't figure out when someone's being the truthful.
Ozin, typically speaking, has a bit of a trouble sometimes making eye contact unless it's absolutely, but in this case, if Effie is looking at him, Ozin is attempting eye.
And Darcy's kind of just also standing there, kind of like looking at you. It's like, and just kind of like, he'll they'll just say, like, if you don't want to go, we can. Like I said, I'm kind of tired myself, and I wouldn't mind a nap.
Well,
Yeah, maybe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If you are certain, then I suppose I can. Okay, I'll come along for the circus later.
I mean, we can just stay in if you're tired. It's not a big deal.
Oh no, it's fine. I really did want to experience it. It's
I mean,
kind of like does the kind of what happens is like he'll look down and his eyes will kind of like dart around just like a little bit in the center as he kind of like tries to figure out what words he's trying to say, and he kind of looks back up. The circus is something special to me, and I wanted to make sure that the both of you, especially Effie, who, as far as I understand, has never actually been to one, I would absolutely love if she was able to witness it all.
Yeah.
If I had to be honest, the reason why I preferred the circus rather than a play is because, you've, and kind of turns over towards Effie more specifically this time. Well, it's something that I've been doing for such a long time, and you've been really great to me, and we already know a decent amount about one another, but I would like to give you another piece. He kind of looks back at the both of them, and it's just for the both of you.
alright, I'm game. But, and he kind of like turns, kind of like looks at both Ozen and Effie, and he'll say, the circus, and I'll look back to Mr. Bagat, like, circus is going to be in town for a couple of days, yeah?
It is a permanent stay here, to be frank, my friend.
Oh.
It is a very regular thing. Imperius is one of the major cities of the land after all.
Oh, well, and I kind of turn to the rest of them, like, we can't go today, we can just go tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal, besides if Miss Effie here is not feeling quite well, and Darcy will kind of just taps his chest where Effie, you would know that pendant is. He's like, I have a responsibility to take care of my friends and whatnot.
Still kind of glancing around, like a little unsure and like kind of fiddling with her hair, but she looks down at the floor and it's just like,
Well, if you are truly certain that you would like me coming along, then I can come along to the circus.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be here for a while. We could just do it tomorrow. Like I said, you're not feeling up to it.
It's up to either the two of y'all to be. It's either. I'm dying. It's up to either the two of you. Really. I mean, I am somewhat excited to move on, but again, that could just be. I don't know. I just really want the both of you to see it.
Alright. Well,
Well, if you... Okay.
she gives a little nod, just both to the statement and to something that's that's on her mind, and then looks over between the two of them again. It's just like,
All right, I will come along then, if you are sure.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I be?
yeah. Here, Ozen.
Oh. What?
Actually, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Bagat. What time is the circus? Is there a certain time it starts, or is it just show up whenever?
The circus, let me take a look at this. As he thinks about it for a minute, he goes, there is two showings, of course. The morning one with the kitties, and the late one where they have the torchlights lit up the night and do some more hot racing adventure sort. Yes is yes.
All right. So why don't we go for the later one, seeing as we probably missed the morning show anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So it gives us a little time to kill.
Yeah, of course.
So why don't we head back to the hotel for a little while and unwind before we set out again?
Yeah.
All right.
Effie will nod her head and follow.
Very good. I shall take you back to your rooms then with Annie. You will be able to ride in the back, Miss Effie, with Annie, and you should be all good to go.
Yeah. Do you want to? I look at it. I'm like, do you want to steer? God, what was my camel's name again?
Simon?
Thank you. I listen. It's been a day.
Don't worry.
I'll just look at Ozan. I'll just be like, hey, you want to steer Simon this time?
Yeah, sure.
I will let Simon telepathically know what is going on. I know he's more than capable to get us there without any guidance, but just let Ozan have this one.
Yeah.
By the way, what is Simon's personality? I am curious.
I feel like he's sassy. He's got humps, man.
I mean, it's giving the personality of, it's kind of like giving the personality of your familiar. It kind of debates on the origin. It's a celestial, I take it, correct?
No, it's a Fae.
Oh, it's a Fae? Fair
Fae.
enough. Probably kind of in the trickstery market then.
Alright.
Most likely, if you take your eye off of Simon, he might spit at you for a gag, being a camel and all.
Alright then. Yeah, I'll just tell Simon, it's like, please don't mess with him.
So it's Ozan on the camel, Darcy following, Effie and Enyi on the cart.
Yep, Effie and Enyi on the back of the cart, with Dowry driving the cart. Unless you're up front with Dowry. Darcy.
No, I was actually gonna hang back and just kind of get beside the cart where Effie is and just kind of lean over and just kind of whisper him like, you seem off. I know I'm not your favorite person, but do you want to talk about it with someone? It's not healthy keeping it all in like that.
Opens mouth, closes it, thinking over her answer for a moment, and then is just like,
I promise you true charity.
I'm not sure if I should.
At that point, Effie will turn. Henry turns to Effie, goes, "Would it make you feel better? Perhaps if it was another girl to girl talk? Oui, oui."
If you don't want to talk about it, I'm not gonna make you. I'm just giving you the option to. I'm giving you the option to talk to someone, and I promise you, I will be nothing but neutral, even if it's something involving me. And he will just kind of give Effie, if she doesn't seem uncomfortable, just a small, light pat on the shoulder and just say, like I said, I know I'm not your favorite person, but I'm not gonna. Even if I notice someone's stuff, I'm not gonna just sit there and.
Light pat on the shoulder. There is no way you can reach her shoulder when you are walking by the cart and she's on the cart.
I can jump up onto the cart for a second, hang off the side. Anyway, but
Ozan isn't saying
that.
anything, but he is watching with a concerned gaze.
Yeah, but Darcy would just say, I know I'm not the best at noticing when people are not happy, but you definitely seem like you're not happy. And you deserve to be.
there's a little bit of tension in her body just because there's people fretting over her when she's trying to make it seem like everything's good, so she's not sure what to do. And again, just kind of gives Darcy a polite smile. It's just like,
As I mentioned before, I am just tired. I'm sure I will be better with rest.
Alright, but if you change your mind, you know where to find me. And Darcy will hop off the cart.
So as you guys travel the cart, and he turns to Effie and goes, Miss Effie, now that we are a little bit alone, I would, she kind of looks shy. I'd like to apologize, if I may.
Apologize for what?
I thought, perhaps I misread things when when you had Mr. Ozin pat you on the head, and I felt like I was trying to help when I dared him to kiss your cheek, but it seems that this was a mistake on my part, and I am sorry.
she reaches up and pets the top of her head, giving a more softer smile. It's just like,
There is no need for you to apologize. You were not entirely wrong in your assumption, but it is I who is wrong.
Oh, I did not realize that it was such a thing. If you ever feel like talking about it, so Miss Effie, I would be more than happy to speak with you. I mean, and she kind of looks away, kind of embarrassed. To be frank, I do not have many of the friends in the city, and very few of the female ones. If you happen to be in the city for longer, I would very much like if you would wish to hang out with me from time to time.
Oh, of course. I was planning to anyway.
See a kind of a smile spread across the little Laxodon girl's face. That would be very nice, she says, and gives you kind of like a little hug.
Effie will return it, pushing aside any negative feelings at the moment, just because to focus more on not letting this girl feel.
As you guys, anyways, as Dowry gets you guys towards the Golden Oasis, he stops down and goes, "So we are here. I see you are at the Golden Oasis. You must be living high on the hog, yes?"
Well, I came into some decent money recently.
Oh, very good, my friends. Well, I have to get back to the business with the Henry. But if you need anything, feel free to ask Dowry Baguette for anything of you need.
Of course. Actually, and he'll just kind of lean over and whisper to him, like, Could you actually have a cheesecake delivered here tomorrow?
Oh, I will make it my best one, my friend.
Thank you very much.
It's all good.
Effie gives Enyi the top of her head another pat, and then makes her way off the cart.
I shall see you later, Miss Effie. And she waves you bye.
Effie gives a little wave. Then turns to the rest of the group. It's just like, because we're in front of the inn now, right?
You guys are in front of the Golden Oasis, yes. You parked right outside the door.
She'll look at the two and say,
Well, I suppose it is time for a nap then. Well, I would say good night, but it is not nighttime, so...
She just gives a little wave and then walks inside.
Enjoy your nap.
So if he walks inside to go take a nap, are you two doing anything?
Kind of look at Ozin like, I think something's been bothering her.
Yeah. He kind of like seems stressed when he says that, but he doesn't say much. I just hope she's alright.
Yeah, me too. Hey, can I talk to you?
Sure.
In private?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Alright. Yeah, let's head back up to my room then.
Hey, you guys head back in the Golden Oasis to your room.
I wonder if Bruce ever cleaned our sheets yet.
I hope so.
The what?
Nah,
You
just
think- Did they change your sheets?
Yeah, because I don't think he ever had a chance to do that since the last time we talked to him. Questions for another day. Anyway.
We saved him for mushrooms. I'm sure he can do us a solid.
Anyway. Darcy will, I guess Darcy will lead Ozen back to his room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a few hours, guys. Your rooms have been serviced. As long as you didn't have the do not disturb sign out.
I'm good. So, assuming they get in there and they sit down and whatnot, Darcy will just kind of like start talking to us. It's like, hey, I have a few things I want to talk to you about.
Yeah. What's up?
So, I need you to answer something very honestly for me.
Sure. I'm allowed to call you. Kind of looks around. Your name, right? Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm speaking like this, feel free to call me my name. But there's a few things I want to talk to you about. Like I said, first off, I need you to really tell me something. I need you to tell me in all truth and honesty.
Sure.
You said you were thinking about coming along with me.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that what you're considering it not because you want to come along with me, but because you're legitimately interested in the work that I do and want to contribute to the cause. Because as flattered as I am, you might even consider doing something like this for my sake. I would feel horrible about it. So I need you to be aware of exactly what you would be doing if you agreed to this.
Well, and you wanted me to be honest, so I will tell you. What if it was a little bit of both? You know, from what you've told me, as far as the job and everything and whatnot, you know, unfortunately, there's still areas of information that I won't know. From what it sounds like until, of course, I'm actually in it, and that is kind of scary, admittedly.
I can give you the broad details, but I can't tell you about the specifics necessarily.
Yeah.
That's how we operate and the things you'll be trained to do. But I can't tell you the broader strokes.
I didn't go the same militaristic route as my parents and siblings, sans Sarah.
Oh, don't trust me when I say this is not a military.
I know, but you know what I mean. Just tactics and espionage and fighting and, well, The fighting thing I've got down, but that's only because of the performance. The masks that you all wear and the voices and whatnot, they're things that I'm capable of, simply from what I've learned and from what I've studied and practiced and whatnot. But I have to admit, with how I currently am, I admit it would be, frankly, easier to just become an adventurer, but... And he kind of... The entire time he was talking about that, he was kind of like avoiding looking into Darcy's eyes, but afterwards he would kind of look up. Well, I could just become a normal adventurer, but, well, you aren't one, so I don't want to be one. I would like to get to know you, not Darcy, not any other persona that you are, but I'd like to get to know Irvin.
Alright.
And I'm sure that might be kind of one of the only ways that I can, and yeah, it's a bit of both.
Alright. So, I'll ask you then, and... Alright, I'll ask you a couple questions, first off. About this organization. I can tell you about the broad strokes of what you would be getting yourself into.
Right.
So, for us, a lot of the things we end up doing is... Obviously, you've seen the masks and the quote-unquote vigilantism. That's part of it. That's... The mask isn't so much so you can be a quote-unquote caped hero. It's so you can act without having to worry about things following you.
Yeah, I get it.
A lot of what we do here is... A lot of what we do in this organization is finding ways to act on our better judgments when society or the things that hinder it would otherwise tell us we can't. So for us, masks, and more than just the physical kind, are a necessity in a way. You can let your guard down around certain people, but you can't, and you can definitely wear your own face around, like your own personality. It's just safer sometimes, especially when you're in more exotic locations that you didn't grow up in, to develop a persona that can be abandoned if needed. It's not always easy, because it means that even if when you end up liking someone, but you know there's no chance they could ever be part of this organization, you're not allowed to tell them your actual name. It also means that you're going to disappear from history. You may be able to contribute some things on the up and up. I know I have a few things under the belt of Irvin that he could be proud of, but you can't stand out too much. You can't leave a trail. We also, obviously, one of our main goals is to secure the freedoms of others. And in doing so, we often find ourselves going up against powerful individuals who have procured much in the way of monetary gain by taking away the freedoms of others. And so, in response to that, we end up targeting them, not for assassination, because we avoid killing whenever possible, but for instead finding other ways to bring them down, whether it's corporate espionage, sabotage, or whatever have you. Vandalism, destroying property, whatever we can do to, or just plain up robbery, whatever we can do to disrupt their power so that we can take them down one way or another. That's something we do when it's very dangerous. Oftentimes it would just be a lot easier to go into their room with a dagger and walk out with a dagger and some blood, but it's not how we operate. The only time you really kill on this job is when your back's against the wall and you really have no other choice. Or whenever the circumstances are extreme enough to where the taking of a life would potentially bring about a great and good change.
So,
Especially with Abdulaziz as the Sultan.
yeah.
But that's a very, very rare circumstance right there.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
And this is also a serious one where I want your truthful answer. What
Alright.
do you see inside of your future?
I see possibilities. I know
What's
that
the one that you want?
the one I want. I don't know. Somehow if I can... There's two things I want. 2 or 3 things. First off, if I could... And this is like wildest dreams, I'm talking about not realistic at all, but if I could somehow reshape the system so that we could stop the wars and that we could stop the injustices in the society that's been built, then I could very much see myself retiring very happy. I could see myself retiring on a beach and watching the waves roll by. I would also like to see that with someone else. But another possibility that I would be foolish to ignore is that I will end up in a shallow grave on the side of a road somewhere, or ditched in the middle of the ocean, or something else. But I know if that happens, at least I went down for a good cause, and that's something that I could be satisfied with in my final moments. It's hard, and I'm not gonna lie. I know for a fact that I've had friends, come and go one way or another, but it's hard to always be able to see that and always believe that I'll end up getting to watch the waves. But like I said, I don't do this for the idea of a retirement, of somehow earning enough funds to retire, and Darcy will kind of just stand up. I do it because it's a job that needs to get done. And someone's got to do it, and it might as well be me, because he looks down at his hands as they start to glow just a little bit with divine energy. Because someone else believes in me.
Who is that someone else, if you don't mind me asking?
Darcy hesitates for a second, but he goes for his shirt, and you can see him pull out what looks to be a pendant and taking it off and tossing it towards you. So the pendant that you see, and give me a second, I gotta remember what it looks like. It's been a while since I thought about this in Ultra Thermosity. You see, where are they? They're there. There we go. You see a. Oh, that's right. That's what it is. You see this pendant, and it is a winged serpent coiled around a staff.
Oh, sorry, that was a Judah O, not a Ozen O. I know who that is, but continue.
I serve. I do serve one of the Empire's higher powers, but it's not so much because that's what the law dictates that I must do. It's more so because he believes in me. Or at least he sees that we are aligned in our beliefs. So I have at least hope that I'll reach that and reach my beaches, because I know I've got someone else who believes in me. That someone else can keep me safe.
I'm sure of it, but I mean, how do I put it? I don't have the closest of relationships with, the gods.
To be honest with you, I don't either. Consider this more of a blind faith sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I know that you're confident in all that, but to be honest, hearing some of the things that you say, I mean, it's good to know that, in the ideal area, you've thought of retirement, you've thought of getting away on that water that you seem to enjoy so much, maybe with someone, maybe not. But it scares me that your insistence and confidence, while, I mean, I'm not sure how much of that was Darcy, but it scares me that you seem to be so independent to a fault. Even through the times that we were fighting, or fighting, like, for example, the zombies inside of the inn, or just small things, you present yourself as very gung-ho, but to no avail do you seem to actually have a stop sign that prevents you from going over the edge. And one of the things that I had talked to you and Effie about was the thrill of bringing somebody back from the dead, but I never said that I enjoyed it per se. I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to, and it feels great to be able to, but the stress, the terror, the idea that one day one of those spells that I cast just simply won't work, that's terrifying. And, well, are you ever afraid that one day you won't get back up? The same way I'm afraid that I won't be able to pick you or anyone else up? Being controlled by fear is bad, but not having any is.
I'm not so much afraid of not being able to get back up. It's not that I'm afraid of not being able to get back up. It's more that I think that if I do go down, and that if I don't get back up, I know that at least I'll be taken somewhere that my hope is that if I go down and I don't get back up, I'll still wind up at the beaches. Just not in the way that I originally thought. I know that I'm a mortal man, and I know I'm not invincible, and that the gods can't protect me from everything, but if I face the world and I don't face it with the confidence of someone who could take it on, then I can't be there to stand for others when they need someone to lean on. So that means I have to at least show that I can stand, even if I am worried of what may happen next.
Would
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been in war zones. I've been on the edge of civilization. I've seen the worst of these conflicts, and as part of my missions there, one of the things we have to do is we have to be able to spearhead people out so they don't get caught in the crossfire or brought into the Empire as slaves. We spearhead them and try to get them further into their homelands so they can maybe buy some more time for them, but sometimes it just feels like it's never ending. And there's no hope, and you have to be there to stand and face these adversities with a smile so you can inspire others to keep going.
I understand that. I do. I mean, it's part of performance as well. Putting on a smile, it not only ensures yourself, ensures the audience, but it also ensures the other people that are watching you. And, I've seen some nasty things in there as well. Sure, it's not as harsh as a battlefield, but I feel it can be just as hectic. But my only fear, and the reason why I bring this up, is because... And I know that I didn't say that it was all because of you that I joined or want to, but I don't remember when I first got here and met you and Effie and all the others, Audrey, Miriam. I remember one thing that I said, and I remember. I believe it was the day after that I said that we were all going to make it. And that we were going to remain strong. And I may not have been the most emotionally stable, God knows. But the reason why I say it is the same reason why you so graciously dive into more of those dangerous situations. The same caution that I have is for the same reason that you show your bravery. It's... I don't want to see myself fall. I don't want to see others fall. I don't want to see you fall. And I know that you have this security blanket in the form of the seas that you will apparently see no matter what happens, but... And I can't make you somehow more material or more emotionally involved in the world, but it sometimes... I'm sorry, I'm having such a difficult time saying this.
It's okay.
I am more than fine following anyone into the brink of wherever they are trying to achieve. I'm more than fine playing the support role and making sure that others are able to get back from even the longest of falls, the hardest of falls, but it would put a lot more rest into my own heart if you were to be more careful. The same way that you know that either way you will end up at that sea, I have to deal with the fact that, especially in a field of work like that, any day, for example, like in the mission, every day I woke up, I never told you all this, but when it came to my sister, and eventually when it came to the both of you, all of you, I woke up every day fearing that maybe you wouldn't be there, and maybe you would have gotten killed in your sleep, or something else crazy like that. I need you to show an equal amount of caution, because even though you have a safeguard, that's no way to live. At least I don't think it is. I can take care of someone, but I need you to take care of yourself too. I don't want to join this thing, and the next day you're not even there because you got put in that shallow grave, left in the ocean. I know you have spent a long time thinking for yourself, but I hope it's not selfish, but I hope you would think of me and whatever friends you may have as well.
Alright. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not used of the idea of having someone be that worried about me.
Part
I
of the circus. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll keep that in mind for the future. I can't promise you I'll change overnight, but I'll try to be conscious of it, and I'll try to be more. I'll try to keep you in mind, and I know that what I propose to you is obviously a big decision, and I don't want you to take it lightly, but it makes me feel better that I know that I've told you what this job can entail, and I'm glad you've told me that you're more concerned about having to do it without me than doing it at all. But listen, I'd be very happy if you came with me, and you seem like you want to come, and you seem like you're both interested in it for me and for the actual job itself, which is good. I need you to make sure that, if you worry about every little thing, and like I said, I'm going to try to see you on this halfway, if not more, but I also need you to realize that if you step into this life, you gotta realize that with, any week, any day, something could happen. You gotta learn how to sometimes kick your feet up and enjoy the days off, and you gotta enjoy life, really. You can't just
I
go
understand
through worrying
that.
about it all, so...
No,
Tell you
trust me. Trust me. I can be a warrior. It's what I've always done since I was a kid, with everything that I wanted to do. Second guessing, anxieties and everything. I know that they ail me, but if there's one thing that I learned inside of the circus, it's that in group performances, absolute trust is necessary in order to complete an act. And in this case, while I do trust you, there are still aspects that I have not quite gotten to know, and I know that you say that you're a lot more calculated than that, but I've seen a rather brash and a little bit foolhardy version of you through Darcy, and I'm not sure how long that extends, but what I'm simply trying to say is, in the circus, there is absolute trust. And until, of course, I 100% understand that you won't run off and get yourself killed, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with me worrying for a while.
Right.
It's
Well,
all I ever do.
I guess I'll just have to show you that I can take care of myself. But and I'm glad we met. And like I said, I think you'd be a good fit for this organization. I just think if you do join, you'll settle into it, and you'll kind of realize that kind of what I'm saying. The reason I tend to go overboard when it comes to the small stuff, the stuff that really shouldn't matter, it's not so much so because I want to show off. It's more just because I like to live as much as I can. Because I know there's a chance I'm not going to get to live a full life.
Well, before any performance, I always tell myself that I'm going to make it out. I don't have the same safeguard that you have through your god, or whoever is your patron, or anything of that sort, but if I know one thing, what's carried me through several years of performance has simply been not only faith, of course, but trust. Trusting that everything, no matter what may happen, I mean, it's why earlier when we were going into the caves, I had made you promise and say that everything was going to be fine, and that's all I have. You're going to be fine too. As long as I'm there, I'm going to make sure of it.
And I trust you can keep me safe. And I trust that I'll keep you safe. And I think that this is a path that I'd be happy to walk with you. Darcy kind of just get up, walk over to Ozan, and kind of just give him a hug. And say, if he'll allow it, and then just say, you know, you and I are gonna do some good things together. And I think you and I are probably gonna have to work on making each other feel better about some of the things we do, and get a better understanding of what we do. And I'll pull away from the hug, and I'll say, but I'll grab onto your shoulders and say, and look you in the eye and say, you and I are gonna be, we're gonna be great, alright?
That's what I wanted to hear. He was at first kind of stale in the hug for a moment, but he kind of melted into it for a second before, of course, pulling away, where he kind of straightened up.
But it does bring me to something, though. The second thing I really want to talk to you about. Well, I may not be the best at understanding people, but Effie didn't seem quite alright today, did she? She kind of shut off.
He kind of steps away from his grasp and kind of like sits on the floor. Not on the floor, but on the bed. Yeah, I just hope it's not my fault. I feel like it is, but... Well... His eyes kind of like dart back and forth.
Everything okay there?
Have you ever made the mistake of spreading yourself too thin?
I generally try to keep focus on one thing at a time, but yeah, I've been in situations where I've had to deal with a lot of it once. Why?
Well... And this is just my anxiety talking, really, but I fear that my relations with you is beginning to harm her.
Wait. What? Wait. Do you think she's got feelings for you?
Well... Yes, and I can't say that it's entirely one-sided. I'm sorry.
Oh.
But...
So...
That's
fine if you do, I understand, but... You know, I don't know if I'm not the right guy for you. I understand. It's
No, that's not. This is what I mean. He kind of like begins to tap a little bit on his own lap as his hands kind of grow frantic. It's not. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's. I mean, I spread myself too thin. I fear that. You say I'm a good person, but I sometimes fear that because of my moments of weakness and just the situation that I may have. And he grows like more and more kind of like flusters as silence kind of pass by, and he's just, I fear that I may have, I don't know, played her or you or and I just
Hey, listen. We can't be defined by our mistakes.
but
I
it
don't-
wasn't.
Hold on. And whether it was intentional or not, if you think she might have those kind of feelings for you, and you have them for her, and for me, or whatnot, it sounds like you're at a crossroads. And if you like, I know which path I would prefer you to take, but I can't make you take that path. I wouldn't dare try to make you take that path. But if you lean one way or the other, you've got to, and you think, and obviously you know my feelings, but if you think that whatever you're doing with me is causing her harm, and I know she doesn't like me, I know we're not the best of chums, I think she's a good person overall. I just think she can be I think she wears a mask like me, but she doesn't have an outlet for the emotion she shows under it.
I just
Oh
feel
my God.
bad because the only one thing consistent between any of the deeds and things I do, the only thing I've ever wanted is to make people happy, and after a comment on good things hurting, I'm afraid I may have done the exact opposite of what I had desired, and it feels bad. It really feels bad.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, I've hurt people I've cared about in my life, and I can understand that's not fun, I can understand that awful feeling you've got, but you're not gonna make it better if we don't talk to her. Like I said, you know you've got a friend in me one way or the other. Because like I said, I know which path I want you to take, but I can't make you, and I understand that, and I'd be at peace with that. But I don't know if she's got. Sorry, I keep slipping back into my accent, but I don't know if she's got. I don't know if she has the same mechanisms I do to handle stuff like that. She seems like she'll always just put a smile on until something pushes her to a certain point, and I don't want to see her get to that point. At least not with this. If it's really about you, that means you need to, and I don't know if I can help you with this, but it sounds like you need to go over there, get her to take off her mask, and have an honest to goodness talk and figure out what's going on with you. If you want to go have that standard adventuring life that you were talking about, I understand. But if you want to do what I do and come along with me, I also understand. But I was talking with Effie, and she wants to go along with you. But it makes me a little nervous if she wants to come along, and it make me nervous if she wants to join the Shepherds for the wrong reasons. You've expressed interest in wanting to make people happy and whatnot, but I don't think she understands the gravity of what she'd be getting into if you went with me and she tagged along. And so if she's gonna get in trouble like that, you need to make sure that you have a talk with her so everything's out on the table and everyone can kind of understand what's going on. Like I said, if you think that what you're doing with me is hurting her in one way or another, sounds like you need to have a talk with her to clear out what's going on and then go from there. I'll support you either way. Just know that. Okay?
Thank you. It's just... For such a long time, I've been the problem child, in a way. And it's hard to know that, for once again, I may be disappointing someone in this situation, regardless of what I do, and I'm
Listen.
scared. That's all I am. Is I'm just afraid.
Listen, no matter your choice, if you don't go with me, I want you to know that I can just bounce right back. It's what I do. I fall, I dust myself off, I get back up and keep going.
That doesn't mean that it's entirely right, though.
No.
I mean, I hope that the both of you bounce back, but... And I know that I'm not the most important... I'm really not, frankly, but...
Hey, the point is important. I mean, obviously, you got two people here who seem to be interested in you. You know, assuming that we're correct in thinking she is, or you're correct in thinking she is. But you gotta go and talk to her at the very least. Figure it out, and then pick your path. You don't have to do it today. You don't have to do it today. That's a big decision. But whether it's fair or not, or whether you like it or not, it seems like you're at a crossroads, and I think that either way, you gotta make that choice at some point. So, and just know that whichever path you take, I'm sure at least we'll see each other at some point or another and catch up and whatnot. I'm sure that things will work out. Don't worry about me, whatever your choice, alright?
I understand.
Now, I think the last has probably been long enough. And I don't think she'd want me in that conversation. So, how about I stick nearby? Not eavesdropping, of course, but why don't I stick nearby and you can go have a chat with her. And if she's puts on her smile and her mask, you need to call her out on it, because that's the best way that I've found, at least, to let people drop it, is when you call them out and they know it's not working. There's no point in doing it, so if she hides behind a mask, you just gotta call her out and say, listen, you gotta talk to me in my...
I'm much more a fan of the gentle approach. I'm very much the type of person who sits and there's a double entendre with this, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm more the type of person to sit and wait for a person to become more comfortable with taking off the mask, rather than, and he kind of raises his hands, forcing them to.
Alright. Well, like I said, you and I probably have a different approach on that one. And like I said, you're probably better with people than I am, but you know.
Well, not in this situation. I am.
She just seems like she's gonna be putting on her mask, one way or the other. So you gotta be able to find a way to get her to take it off, because she's not. I don't know if she's ever gonna willingly do it. I'll leave it to you, your discretion. This is kind of your thing at the moment, so I'll leave it to you. But just know, one way or the other, I'm happy to be your friend, at the very least. And Darcy will go in for another hug, give him a pat on the back, say, "You'll do great, one way or another." And let's go. Pats him on the shoulder and says, "Alright, I think you've got something to do now."
Well, I mean, I'm sure she was actually maybe. I don't know.
Get stolen is what I think you're doing.
I think maybe. Well, no. It's. She said that she wanted rest, and I'm more than willing to give that to her. I don't want to push while she very well might not be ready for that. I don't like stepping my toes where they're not invited.
Alright. I'll leave you to it then. In the meantime, I could start telling you a bit more about, is there any questions you got for me in the meantime?
Kind of puts his hand on his chin for a moment.
About myself or the, shepherds?
What's your second favorite thing?
Second favorite thing? I don't know. I bounce around a lot, so I experience a lot of things, but I don't really get a chance to sit down and really stay to do one thing for very long. But if I had to say my second favorite thing, I think my second favorite thing is going out and making a difference in a good way.
He kind of gives a satisfied smile. Okay.
Sorry, that was a little cheesy.
No. It was. Yeah, kind of smile grows a little bit wider. It was very you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
What's with the sipping water?
Only because she doesn't have tea, or they, my bad.
Inner joke with DM.
Yep.
Sips water. I'm assuming it's basically just sips tea.
Wait,
Inside
what's going on?
Go, keep going.
Alright. No, Darcy would have say. What about you? What's your favorite thing? I know you like to bring smiles to people's faces, but besides that, is it cake?
Leans back for a moment. I guess it would have to be people. It's
like
weird,
you
but I do. Given my stature, not everyone likes me, but
come off it. You're a great guy.
well, I mean, I'm all right.
Listen, if you want to find someone people don't like, you'll look at me.
Well, I mean, you may be a little bit crass, definitely. You have a great stature, and I can see the whole inspiration thing, but as far as it goes, your tact is not of the better I've seen. No offense.
Honestly, not taken. I don't stick around people long enough to get into the nitty-gritty of things. Guess that's gonna change. But that'll be fun to see how that changed. And I'm assuming we will cut to black at some point so we can do whatever Nick has been waiting to do.
I'll assume you guys cut to black eventually here. I wasn't sure how much longer you were going, but we'll say that ends there.
What is happening?
So...
Wait, don't do anything. I want to run and quickly refill my water, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Alright.
No water for you.
I need to join the Sipping Water Club.
Oh, man.
So, how are things going for you guys?
Interesting.
What's, gotta ask, like, how was that? Was that scene okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
They talked about things they need to talk about. That's good. Darcy's now in the loop.
Is it true?
Well, this will be interesting. I'm excited to see Ozen's choice here.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see how the next conversation goes.
I don't
As
think we're
am
hitting the
I.
surface tonight.
It's probably gonna be a bit more difficult now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's D&D. You can never tell what's going to happen with other people's reactions.
Yeah.
I passed this scene off to you two to figure the fuck out what you two are doing.
I'm not gonna say as to what, but for once, Darcy had the right idea in mind.
What, the fact that you're never gonna take off that mask?
No, not that.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You don't get to know.
I'm at a disadvantage here. I've been up for like 30 hours.
You're not meant to know. You'll probably, depending on how good she can perform, you'll probably maybe find out.
I'm back, and I heard a
back.
little bit of it, and I think I know what Darcy was right about.
What was I right about?
I don't know if I'm right, but we'll see.
What's your theory? What's your theory? Tell me your theory, please. I need to know.
My theory is based off of what we had previously talked about their individual issues. Ozen is anxious and second guesses things, so I don't think ripping off the mask is something that he is capable of, and I think that might be what he might need to do. I'm not sure.
That's not the thing.
Well, even if it was, would you tell me?
Nope.
That's true, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But in any case, still should make for an interesting time as we take up to the next scene now that everybody's gotten their water, I'm assuming, and everybody's ready to go.
Yeah, sips water.
Yeah,
This will be
sip your
interesting.
water. That would lead us going into the next section, which consists of where we're going to take this off. Do we want to go to? Well, you guys said you were going to wait. Were you guys planning to still hit the circus? You know what? I got something that'll help move this forward. As you guys are kind of waiting on the getting yourselves ready, whether you go for the circus, you hear a.
No, I think we should still stay in the end thing, though.
Okay, you guys are still in
Yeah.
the inn yet. Well, that's what I was going to do, is setting up. So what are you guys
mean-
doing at the inn then? Well,
Maybe because the way I had it is that Ozen definitely was going to take a nap,
okay, so Oza takes a nap.
but by the time that is over, he would want to. He would take 30 minutes walking back and forth, pacing in front of his door before he finally got the second wind to try to talk to Effie. Took an extra 5 minutes simply opening the door, and is just robotically moving his way over in the direction.
By the way, Darcy, when you two were taking your naps, Darcy has been reading, finally getting a chance to really dive into his book
Of course.
And just for DM to know while still keeping quiet, the entire time was the thing that I discussed with you before.
Yeah, okay. Good to know. That will definitely come into effect.
Got it.
Oh boy.
I'm scared.
You should be.
She's been sharpening knives and arrows like, this one's for Darcy, this one's for Ozen.
Oh my god.
Use the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Oh my god. Alright,
That's
so
what
Ozen is
Darcy just goes like,
pacing.
well, this is one of those times I gotta kill someone.
Ozen finally reaches the door in which Effie would, I guess, be.
Alright.
He just like a knock and a muffled. Effie, it's Ozen.
She's gonna kind of startle a bit at the sound of someone at her door and make herself presentable, and make her way over to the door to open it a crack.
Okay, so you open the door a crack.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hi. Do you think I'm able to come in? If you will have me.
Is there a mirror in the room?
Oh yes, this is definitely a place where a mirror would be in there.
Taking a quick glimpse at the mirror, does everything seem okay?
Oh hell no.
I mean, you did have Ozen's tip of splashing your face.
I don't think there's water in the room.
Damn.
Yeah, this isn't
That
like a
was
running
low.
sink water place, man.
she'll open the door for him, just kind of keeping her head down a bit, like just using her hair to cover up just a tiny bit, not bring too much attention, and shut the door behind him.
Sure. Okay, so you do that. There's no way this isn't gonna happen. I want you to roll me a perception check.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, there's no way there's not gonna be a perception check here.
Roll well. Hey.
Yay.
I will say, you're not certain due to the hair being in the way and the looking around, but you just think you catch a
Something's
hitness of
wrong.
redness to her eyes.
Even though he notices things are wrong, he's going to not put on a show smile, but just a courtesy wry smile. And it's just, so, how was, I mean, assuming you took a nap, did you sleep?
Opens mouth, closes it, thinks over her answer for a moment, and then is just like,
So there's hesitation.
long bit of hesitation.
Okay.
Eventually, she's just like, I don't really like lying to you, so I will just stay quiet.
Ozen's wry smile kind of doesn't drop, but droops. He's still smiling, but there's a bit more of palpable concern to his face as he's just like, okay. His eyes kind of dart back and forth. You know, Effie, I have yet to thank you for just about everything you've done for me. I was so stressed and other things, and that doesn't quite excuse my behavior. That being said, I'm not making excuses, but I never took the time to sit down and really think about everything that you've done. You nearly sold yourself into slavery simply for helping finding my sister. You comforted me every single time that I felt down. You've been there to laugh and even mess with some of the others as well. It was... No. Everything is really fun whenever you're around, and it makes me very happy. Genuinely. Did those things make you happy as well?
Her lips kind of wobble a little bit, and she nods her head.
Yeah, I'm glad, because
Ozen, are we still playing this truth or dare game? Is that the honest truth?
Yes. Well, funny. It would be a lie to say that we are still playing Truth or Dare, but I am being 100% truthful in that my answer is exactly what
She lifts her head up a little bit at that to look at Ozen, lips wobbling a little bit more, and just she's not bothering to hide it anymore. She's kind of giving him this like mix of hopeful but also disbelieving gaze. Is just tears are freely falling now, and she's just like,
Do you really like my presents?
Like, I loved them, really. Like, you need to understand, I'm someone who ran about dancing, jumping through hoops, throwing swords, and I received many praises and everything else, but those things, they don't carry the same weight as something that comes from a friend or family or anything of that sort. When I walked in that one night and you left the little griffin on my bed, it was... I could tell that there was thought. I could tell that there wasn't manipulation. I could tell that it was meant for me, and it made me very happy that I had someone in such a terrible time for me.
It's definitely seems to be her anxious habit, is she's just kind of running her fingers through some of her hair off to the side of her face. It's just like,
I only did all those things because I wanted you to be happy. Because I know you were stressed and sad, but it never really crossed my mind until recently that perhaps doing these things and wanting to be around you and everything is just me being in the way.
and tears are, her voice trembles more and tears falling faster.
He's trying to keep a respectful distance. Not in the way that he is not trying to comfort her, but in a way that he is trying his best to also not break. But I will say eventually he will kind of motion towards kind of like the softer mattress and kind of like sits down and will kind of, I'd say, lead her to where she would be kind of like sitting nearby and next. I'm not. I am good at putting smiles on people's face, but I'm not the best, or at least I wish I was, but when someone is truly upset, you can make them laugh, but after the laughter goes, like an ebbing and flowing of the tide, that sadness returns. You can make someone who's sad smile, but if what's still there is there, then that sadness will return from before. One thing that has always been difficult with my line of work is every single time I could make someone smile, it was always temporary. There was never anything I could do, despite how much I wanted to, no matter how much I worked, no matter what tricks, flips, and other things I could do. I could make people happy. I fear that my abilities only go as far as to being very temporary, and I fear that maybe his lip begins to quiver. I fear that I may have done, unintentionally, yes, but in severity, bad things to you because of how I am. The times that you would laugh and even when you juggled, and when we would play pranks and everything else, they were all so nice. But it seems as of late I have been causing a lot of pain, and I'm sorry for everything, and if there's a way that I can maybe help or take it away, I want to just do something or make a big move or something of the sort that could fix things immediately, but I don't know how to do that at all. I'm terrible at this. Completely. And I try to make things better, but I somehow... If the things that you make better only return to going back the way that they were, do you ever actually make anything better? If you pick up some trash instead of a park, and there are 50 others that are just going to continue to keep things down, are you really fixing anything? And I see what I'm doing to you, and I see what I'm doing to Darcy, and I don't want to hurt either of you. And that's the most troublesome part of this crossroads. I don't know who to choose, yes. I don't know if I even should choose. My mind has reached such a area of anxiety and panic to where, frankly, the only thing I want to choose is the nearest open window. But...
Even though she knows that her face is much more of a wet mess since Ozen's still on that bordering of trying not to break down yet, she still reaches out to him to brush her thumb against the corner of her eye when she kind of sees anything budding there, and then continues to occasionally do so whenever she sees it appearing. And it's just like...
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you sad.
You never did anything wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. Since you've gotten here, you've done everything from the very center of your heart. You are kind, you are altruistic. You are, frankly, given everything that my sister has done, you've frankly taken the first place, the trophy, the end of the line, the finish line. You've completely topped her in that regard. I don't know a nicer person than you. So you can see why it is so troublesome when said nicest person that I've probably ever met is someone that I seem to consistently be... that is... Even now, your face is practically melting and you're the one who's dealing with my own bullshit. You've never done anything wrong since you've gotten here. Frankly, somehow, that you misjudging the difference between depth perception and size was the best thing that could have possibly happened to this town. And to me. You've, whether it be accidentally or intentionally, have been doing endless good deeds since you've gotten here. And I know I shouldn't be blaming myself, but you're wonderful. And that's why it hurts the most, really. It's that my indecisions, imperfections, anxieties, self-doubts, inconsistencies, temporaries. I feel like everything... Go ahead.
She keeps she's shaking her head the more Ozen talks and says that and blaming him, and is just like,
No, that's not it. It's not you, Ozen. I just... all these nice things that you are saying about me, there are, especially as each day goes by, there's this, I don't even know what it is, but it's this part of me that occasionally appears, and when it appears, I, for a moment, forget about wanting what makes you the most happy, and that's selfish, and I don't know why it just sometimes appears, and when it appears, it hurts, and it's not your fault.
If it's not my fault, it's not your fault either. That's one thing you need to get through your head. You've never done anything wrong, and if that voice is telling you to do something... You're a very caring person, but one thing I often had to tell Sarah is that through caring about others, oftentimes those same people can ignore the very things that they need, and that's themselves. Now, I'm no golden example, half a hypocrite if one, but I know that there are importances to making sure that your needs are met too, and There's nothing selfish with wanting to do what you truly want, or what you truly think you need. I'm not a perfect person, but I don't want you to, or I don't want to continue hurting you like this. I don't want to hurt anyone. And I know you don't either. And sorry, I'm not very good at this. In a bit of a slump, his body language, any signs as he kind of, when he grows frantic, he begins to talk with his hands, but when he grows sad, his hands kind of clench, and now he just slumps. Like the words that racked his brain just kind of finally destroyed it. He kind of not grew lifeless, but he's lost.
Sliding her fingers away from the corner of his eyes, she instead goes to more like kind of like caress his head, more just kind of like lightly running her fingers through it in a calming type manner. As she takes a moment to think it over and is just like,
I am just as lost this time on what is right. I find myself wanting to say or do things that I keep having to tell myself to take a step back and not do, because I know I know Darcy is very special to you, and I know I'm not involved in that at all, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I'm very lost. But I still have these moments where again, it is a very ugly feeling, but these moments where I wish that I could get what Darcy always gets from you. And again, it is very selfish, but it's just the only other times I'm really able to capture your attention is when we have these talks, and we have these talks when either of us is upset or sad. And
You know, I'm not the most physically affectionate. Not typically, anyway. But the only reason why I would maybe dodge or not reciprocate is because, frankly, I felt like I was confusing you or something, that I was throwing you mixed signals, and I didn't want to do that. When Darcy and I shared a night together, it was the same thing. I may be good at making people smile, but the conversationalist I'm not the best at, and because of that, I sometimes will fear that, if I were to hold Effie's hand, or pat her, or hug her, or anything, it would make someone else mad, or it would stir something within me, or it would cause more problems. And I already told you I'm the problem child. I don't want to cause more problems, but it seems like the only thing I'm particularly good at.
Do not finish that sentence.
Well, I hate making you upset, so I won't speak further in that regard, but I just... Is there a way that I can make you feel better, whether that be, I don't know, everything from chocolate to disappearing to, I don't know, anything. And look at me, I was just telling you to do what you think that you should do. I don't even know what I should do, that being said, but I just don't want you to be upset anymore. And I know that technically shouldn't be any of my business, but I think that we've grown close enough to where it makes sense that I would care so much. And I'm sorry I'm rambling. I just I
Okay, I
talked... I'm sorry.
I think that, okay.
You see her take like a slow breath, and then the sadness that was on her expression takes on a bit of a calmer look as she kind of comes to a decision, and she kind of moves from where she was sitting to kind of settle just on the middle of the bed and get comfortable, and like rest her hands in front of her and pats the spot across from her to signal for Ozen to copy her.
Sure.
I think that a lot of this is that, well, I don't mean any offense by this, but you do get in your own head a lot, and as recently has been showing,
She looks down at her palm.
I seem to do it too now. So rather than constantly being confused and unsure and everything, I think that knowing us, we can be open and clear with each other and know that it's okay. So,
She takes another slow, deep breath and then makes herself look Ozen in the eyes and says,
Ozen, well, I'm sure I have gone over this many, many times about all the wonderful things about you, about how I find you to be very kind and easy to talk to and friendly, and how pleasant you are to be around, and how I always feel very happy around you. And I will also say very clearly that I find you to be a very, very special person to me, and I'm more and more learning that it is in a more special way. And I want to say that outright and clearly, so that there is no uncertainty on your part on that end, at least. And I do find myself feeling hurt that I can't get the same or any really attention that you give to Darcy, and that does make me sad. And in all honesty, I did not want to take a nap. I just wanted to get away from everyone because it was getting more difficult not to cry, and I am feeling the urge to do it again now, but what I'm trying to say is, out in the open, these are my thoughts and my feelings. And
She kind of swallows a bit nervously and is like,
and even if you are afraid it might hurt me, I would like to know how you think of me and what I am.
Effie? Would you, do you think if he kind of like looks down, averting his eyes for a moment as his eyes kind of like flicker back and forth. Is it okay if, and only if it would help your decision making and not complicate things, hopefully, if I could he kind of very slowly raises a hand, kind of cupping her cheek. Do you mind if I try this? If she will not stop him or anything, he is going to go in for a kiss on the lips.
aww. When she feels his palm on her cheek, she actually, like, leans into it, like, similarly to how at the place that they had ate at, when she had asked him to pet her head, and she had leaned into that, like, she is desperately craving that sort of touch and affection. And when she sees him leaning in, she closes her eyes and meets him halfway.
For the sake of this in particular, he will kind of hold it there for just a bit of a moment. A few seconds that feel a lot longer than seconds before kind of breaking away. They red streak kind of across his face as he kind of like wordlessly backs away for a moment. Breathless, even though it wasn't that long.
She's also a little flushed in the face.
I hope that I hope that may have helped clear things up a little bit as to how I feel.
She had the look on her face is like a mix of like needing a moment for that to dawn on her, but also then soon it turns into a delighted smile as she looks down and presses her fingertips to her lips to feel them and try to like physically feel as if like that actually just happened. And then a more happy smile comes to her face. And with just that moment of affection, and it kind of clicks as a green light in her head, sort of realizing that this wasn't just a one-way thing. And as Ozen's kind of like muttering and fumbling with his words a bit, she actually reaches out to press both her hands to like cup his face very, very gently, like she's kind of holding something like she's afraid it might crumble under her fingertips if she's not too careful. And she will lean in to kiss him one more time and then pull away a bit and just start giggling.
Here's the thing. What if I said that even if she may signal to pull, I don't think he necessarily wants that, because he kind of leans into this one a bit more than previously.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay, then she starts giggling and pressing multiple ones.
All right.
Until eventually so many had happened that she needs a moment of breath, and it's just like,
Oh, that happy, fluttery feeling is much stronger now. It's almost ticklish.
Very rarely are there times where a bard does not have words, and this is one of them.
You are very red.
He's just like rubbing the back of his head. At this point, I feel like in a way he's picked up the thing where he's just kind of playing with his own hair, as he doesn't even know what.
This is, that was...
Good.
Oh dear, I cannot stop laughing.
It was good.
Incredible.
Yeah, that. So, if we wait any longer, there is a play that circus that we are going to miss, and I would hate to leave you and everyone and me, and I suppose everyone technically means me. Well, if you go into the colloquialisms of it, I guess it depends on whether or not the parties are not equal or not. I'm rambling.
Unable to help herself, she leans in to press a kiss to his cheek and then the tip of his nose, and then leans back to take his hand in both of hers. Just the typical polite face is just gone. It's just full on, like, unabashed adoration in her gaze and face, as she's just like,
Yes, the circus. I do still need to see that.
Yes, you do. But we both look like a mess, and he's gonna kind of take out kind of the flask that he had kind of been carrying with him on his side, kind of like strapped around his shoulders and whatnot. He kind of takes up, kind of signaling as he had done before. He kind of puts the water onto his hands, kind of rubs it around, and kind of pats his eyes. Now you.
Oh, yes, of course.
the entire time she keeps breaking into like these small fits of giggles. Like she just can't help herself with how giddy she's feeling.
Ozen is very smiley right now, but in a way, not so much giggles, but it's like an elated breath that keeps coming out. But he very quickly kind of like takes the water on his own hands, and he kind of does it for her in that sense, kind of rubbing alongside kind of the underlid and near the kind of tear ducts and whatnot, pushing back her hair and making sure that it's more finely kept. Yeah, of course.
She waits until he's done to look over at the mirror in the room and then back at him and say,
How do I look?
Beautiful.
Her gaze falls down to the bed, and her smile growing wider, and the blush on her face spreading a bit dark.
Good.
All right. Well, you kind of. 1 second. Sorry, I had like a bubble in my throat for a moment. Ugh. He kind of gets up and will kind of dust himself off, even though literally nothing about him is dirty. Just I guess a following motion as he just kind of gets ready, and it's just like, right, let's, yeah.
She gets up as well to follow, and before Ozen can open her door, she's gonna gently take his hand to stop him for a moment and say,
I do have one question though. If there's a point where I want to do that again, may I?
This goes back to my whole thing of not wanting to step on toes, but I don't mean to add any more confusion, but can I rain check you on that?
she nods her head and then thinks for a moment, and then it's just like,
Then the cheek or forehead, is that okay?
Yeah, I think that is.
Okay.
she'll give his hand a small squeeze, staring for a bit of a moment.
As that
And
stare
then-
kind of goes by, Ozen's gonna kind of take the hand and kind of turn it into a hug.
Okay, she'll return the hug and give it like a bit of a small squeeze. And with the rain check comment being in her head, while she's holding the hug, she's gonna say,
Just one more selfish thing.
And when she pulls away, she'll give one last tiny, quick peck on the lips and then let him go and say,
All right, rain check.
He bites a smile down, like digs his teeth into his bottom lip as he's just right, and he's gonna go through.
Effie will follow.
Now I
Him
can
out.
post what I was saying.
What were you saying? Oh.
Just war screams, truly. Death and destruction, bombs on the battlefield. Oh man.
Okay, as you guys
My
head,
entire brain had a field day. Sorry, continue.
you guys head
Also,
down.
Heath, you are recording, right?
Yes.
Okay, I would have had to strangle you.
No, you don't have to fly all the way over to Canada to kill me, Nikki. I have been recording. I am well in self-preservation mode with you. On the other
All right,
hand,
and Effie will follow. Yeah, Effie will follow with a bit of a skip to her step and just radiating happy.
Ozen kind of follows in step.
hey, so you guys head down where you see Darcy at the bar drinking and reading his book.
All right. Hey, Darcy. Are we ready to go?
What? Oh, yeah. Can I tell that something's up with them? Like,
Roll
They're
me an
both
insight
happy.
check.
They're both happy, and you know that they had a talk. So, is there really much else to it? Ha ha ha.
Depends. Does Effie wear lipstick?
No.
Coral blue number.
Oh yeah, I guess I should have pointed out. Technically, because of her definitely new diet, she was definitely very sweet.
Oh.
insight, you said?
Yeah, insight.
So literally a sweet kiss.
I mean, looking at the two of them as they walk down happily, I mean, you had an inkling of where things were going, so it makes sense that, I mean, you're not positive, but you suspect something might have happened. You're not positive on it, but you have a suspicion that something might have occurred, given the fact that you had some context before this all occurred.
Yeah.
Effie will approach Darcy, again, still exuding the happiness, and will say,
Darcy, I apologize for my behavior earlier. You were right. I was not feeling very good, and I apologize.
Oh, you seem to be doing better.
Yes, I'm very much ready for the circus now.
That's good. And Darcy will kind of look at his book for a second. It's like, I'm actually getting real into this. I might check out the circus another time. Why don't you go ahead and without me?
Ozen's happier face kind of drops for a moment. It's just, come on. Didn't we say that we were all going to?
Yeah, but you know me, and I just kind of grab the closest actual drink near me.
Yeah, I do know you. And that's exactly why I'm going to drag you along, and I won't take no offense.
Nah, it's fine. You two, go ahead. Stretches his back out, takes a sip of the someone's actual booze. Just says, I think I'm going to stay in for a little while.
Because Ozen's anxiety is flaring, given that again, he's not a liar, but at the same time, like, what's happened, there's a lot of invisible language going on. Can he kind of check and see if he's doing?
Roll me an insight, and I will actually give you advantage because, again, not hard to figure out what's really going on here.
Anxiety gives me superpowers.
Do I at least get to make a deception check?
Deception?
It's just less about you deceiving and him just trying to read your mood.
I'm purposely hiding my mood.
Okay, I'll say you get a deception, but it's going to be a disadvantage because you kind of made some very obvious tells, and you went from a 180, right? He beat you by 1.
All it took was you to have advantage and me to have disadvantage.
Actually, you having flat would have lost you, but yeah, the advantage is what I wanted for him.
Nah,
So,
I'm
yes,
going
you,
to stay in tonight.
So, how Darcy feel?
I mean, you beat me by 1. I don't know how much you get to glean.
I mean, you could obviously, I would say you can tell Darcy's kind of clued into what possibly happened up there.
Well, time for round 2 of Ozen Depression. Alright.
Well, this is what happens when you get 2 hoes on a line, man. Balance your hoes.
You tried to say Darcy's the pimp.
Just glancing over at Ozen and I'm guessing probably being able to see the mood meter of a 10 dropping down very steadily. Effie's gonna look at Darcy and reach out to rest her hand on his forearm and give it a little tug and say,
Actually, before we go to the circus, let's all talk.
Oh no! You know, just kind of
Darcy,
get into my...
please.
Sure. What can I help you with, Loss?
Come on.
and she kind of gives like a little, gives him another tug, trying to get him to get.
He'll resist a bit, but he'll get up eventually.
Alright, come on. Ozen,
Ozen
come
falls
on.
behind. Yeah, Ozen's falling behind, kind of in the back of, just very. Oh man.
Effie will lead them up, still tugging on Darcy's forearm. Not since he's following; it's more just like her resting her hand there to get him to keep going. And thinking over the room scenario. What time of the day?
You guys are getting close to late evening.
And Audrey and Miriam have been busy with like their work stuff.
I would assume Audrey has been doing her reports and Miriam has just been watching over her, as Miriam does.
Can Effie try to take a quick peek into one of their rooms to see if it's empty and available?
Which room?
Audrey's first. She seems like the type who might forget to lock the door.
Except Audrey and Miriam share the same room.
Why don't we just go to one of our rooms?
She's avoiding places of potential tension.
Why would that be?
I would assume like
Ozen's room
Audrey would
is-
be if Audrey is in her room. Audrey is working in her room with Miriam if she's doing a report. There's no other real place for Audrey to do a report.
Ozen's
You
room
realize
is
makes
we
fine.
sense.
have we
Ozen-
each have our own rooms, right?
Okay, so is Ozen's room quote unquote untouched?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't slept since the second night.
Okay, Effie will bring them into Ozen's room. And she'll quietly shut the door behind them. And then kind of looking at the arrangements. What furniture is in the room other than the...
You have a very nice bed. You have like a very nice writing desk and chair. You got like a basic couch set up with a coffee table.
How big
And
is the
since-
couch?
It's like a 3-man couch with an
Alright.
armchair across from it.
Alright, Effie will lead them over, purposely letting go of Darcy's forearm to rest her hands on Ozen's shoulders and gesture him to sit in the center.
Oh, fun! I have an
And-
internal Ozen anxiety meter, and I can't tell you what it's at right now.
Probably because the meter broke.
And Effie will gesture for Darcy to take a seat.
Darcy will sit down. He's like, hey, it's just gonna say, you guys are fine to go ahead without me. I'll be alright.
Effie will also take a seat.
You're fine to go home without me. I'll be alright.
Darcy, you yourself told me, a couple times that it's not good to keep things in, and you said that if I ever wanted to talk, I could talk to you. So, this is me using that and saying that I think all the truthfulness needs to be put out on the table so that people's minds and thoughts don't go all over the place. And so far it's proven to help, so I want to, hopefully it can help again this time.
Alright. What you want to talk about? What do you want to know?
She takes a slow, deep breath, and it seems like the talk earlier has definitely given her a bit more confidence to approach this topic with more maturity rather than hiding away. So she will look Darcy directly in the eyes, and she will say,
How do you feel towards Ozen? Because I like him very much.
I also like him a lot. He's a great guy. For a lot of reasons.
I agree. Okay, that is first one down. Alright, and I assume that you were aware that Ozen seems very torn.
Aye. That's why I told him he's not bound by my feelings.
Okay. And again,
Lass, I have a
Out of
feeling I already
honesty.
know what this is about. It's fine. It is.
what do you think it's about?
You two seem very happy. Coming back from your talk, I have a feeling things went rather well. And I was prepared for that.
Darcy, he is still torn. Which is why I want to have this talk with you. Are you okay with that? Continuing this talk?
I suppose I'd be a hypocrite if I wasn't. Alright. Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
Alright. Now, what is going on inside of your mind right now? Your thoughts? And do not mind us two, and
she gestures to herself and Ozen.
and what we might think or feel about said thought. Just say them.
I should quickly mention right now Ozen is avoiding. Ozen is very much like in the middle with his hands on his lap, just disassociating real hard as like a fucking World War II event is happening inside of his own head. At just this level of confrontation. He understands that it needs to happen, which is why he hasn't said anything, but oh man. But anyways, continue. I just thought that was important because he's so silent right now.
Listen in or no?
Huh?
What's that?
Should we invite Zachary to like let them in, listen in?
They're the sort that is fine with just hopping in if they want to.
Okay.
But Effie's expression and tone of voice is just very calm and genuinely calm, not just like a front. She's just calm as she's asking Darcy what his thoughts.
It's for me. It's just I'm just thinking that there's I know when I need to be more considerate of others, and I think I will start doing that now. I'm fine if whatever happens here happens.
Effie kind of gives like a of like kind of blowing air at some of the strands of hair in front of her face, and shakes her head, looking at Darcy again, and says,
Out of all the times to take my advice, this is not the correct situation for it.
Lass, you're confusing me here. Listen, I know that what I want is not necessarily the best for everyone involved. If Ozen were to take the path I would be happiest him taking, I can't necessarily guarantee it's going to be for his he's going to be safe on that travel, and he expressed he'd rather find more interest in the standard adventuring, not necessarily what I do, and I can understand that, and I can understand if he wants to be, if he'd be happier doing that with you than going on dangerous missions with me. I'm fine with that, because I can't bind someone to me, because I know it's not right, and I know, and I would not expect anyone to ask me to pursue a life that I knew I wouldn't be satisfied with, and I wouldn't dare ask someone else to do that. I would offering's one thing, but I would never suggest you take it unless you actually wanted it fully, and if there wasn't something else you wanted.
But he has not yet to make a clear choice, Darcy, which is why I wanted to get all this out in the open, because I have hopefully a proposition that maybe everyone can agree to, if it's all right with everyone. If you're both willing to listen.
Sure.
she glances at Ozen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She again takes another deep breath and again looks Darcy in the eye and is just,
rather than making a set choice at this very moment, and rather than making a set choice that is one you cannot back out of, how about we all start over with a blank slate, and the three of us just find something that all of us can do together and allow time for thinking things over and making a choice that won't be regretted.
Alright. But... And Darcy will just strain up a bit. I'm not sure if I can necessarily do all that. I've got my own I've got a commitment I've got to keep. I was hoping one or two of you would be willing to join me on that, but I understand that's a big decision and you can't necessarily. It's not necessarily a good idea to commit to it without knowing everything about it, and I wouldn't ask you to without at least getting a better idea of what it is. I'm fairly confident I'm gonna be sent on a few more missions here in Imperius once I give my report. If you two want to, I don't know if you two want to travel or maybe find some stuff around here to do for a little while, so I can come back and have a day job with the lot and work on some other things during the night. But I can't necessarily guarantee that without being able to, without a sort of relationship with my association, I can't guarantee that I'm always going to be able to stick around you folk. That's why I offered.
Are you not able to take a moment of pause?
No. Once you're in, they don't necessarily give you the big missions a lot, but given what's happened here in Imperius, me and probably a few other people are gonna be sent here to maybe start scouting out HQ for the region. Start making the relationships with the rat snakes here, as we've seemed to be on good footing with them for now, and even the Sultan. Setting up a base here is going to end up being a pretty high priority, I know that. And I know that means I'm going to be here for a little while. I know I can't, based on the life I've lived and the things I do. And this is why I look over to Ozen. This is why I wanted to make sure you were really committed to the idea before you said yes. That you provide freedom to others, but you must sacrifice a little bit of yours in return. You do get a say in what you do, but sometimes you know that where they're asking you to go is where you're going to do the most good, and you need to make that choice of whether you go where you want to go or you go where you're needed. And
Then
I
how
can't.
about this? You say that with this organization you lose your freedom. Well, currently with Ozen and myself not being a part of it yet, since that is still being considered,
She gives Ozen a glance and then looks back at Darcy again and is like,
then, as people who still have their freedom and the choice to do what we will with that freedom, why don't you just allow us to follow you? And wherever you decide to go, because that is just our decision. You had no choice in it.
Darcy kind of gives a little smile. Well, I've never heard of rules against having people who just happen to be traveling the way you travel. I'll talk to the shepherd. I'll talk to my boss, but he'll probably still want to meet with you and discuss precisely what your relationship is. As if you're traveling with me, it means you're gonna be seeing our business a bit. Maybe not the trade secrets, but you're still gonna be around it. He's definitely gonna want to at least talk with you a lot.
if he gives a look and make sure it's very clear this time, since usually she's very like about whether or not you can read what she's putting, like emotion she's putting out. She makes sure that it's clear that there is a mischievous look in her eye as she says,
What is the need to inform them? This is just something me and Ozen are deciding to do. We can't help if we are going the same way you are going.
I will say that as if he's been talking about this, he's been actually like kind of subconsciously nodding as he's slowly beginning to kind of take himself out of his head. And then after kind of like hearing that, yeah, it's just so happens, you know, you can't exactly help if we were to go to, for example, up north, you know.
Yes, I have been wanting to travel the world, isn't that right, Ozen? You're just coming along to show me around.
He's not looking back at Effie, but a smile kind of comes to his face as he kind of stares off, and he's just, yeah, actually, that does sound nice.
I think I may be giving the wrong impression of my boss. He's not a bad guy, he's just rightfully cautious. Like I said, he'll probably want to talk to you too, but I don't think he's gonna force anything on you.
Well,
If I vouch for you, I doubt he's gonna really put up a fight against it. He's just, maybe, I don't know. If I don't know. You said you're still thinking about it, but
Darcy,
yeah.
then don't give him anything to worry about if he's so cautious.
Exactly. This is just us doing our own thing. It has nothing to do with your organization.
I'm not trying to make you... We are not trying to make you go against anything the Shepherds have to offer, but... And I never said that I didn't want to join the Shepherds, and we've had our talks and everything, and there's a lot of things I don't know. A lot of decisions that I can't quite make just yet. He kind of looks in between Darcy and Effie. There's a lot of things I don't know. Kind of looks down at the ground, kind of thinking about the mushroom people. And there's many things I haven't even experienced yet. And he kind of raises his arms to the room and even further on beyond, kind of insinuating the other dimensions and other whatnots of, that go about in this world. I don't know a lot of things, but there's one thing that I do know, and that is you both came into my life, and I would very much still like to experience it with the both of you, if that will be allowed. And in this particular case, I mean, I am still very inconclusive about a lot of things, as you both know. Effie is frankly new to our side of the world, Darcy, and, well, you have a job to do. I don't see why all three of those things can't happen at the same time.
Alright. Okay, I can go along with that, I guess. Sorry if I, sorry in advance if I suddenly have to... If you see me just suddenly have to take a sharp corner into a shady alleyway, I might, associates of mine might want to talk, but know that I'll be around and I'm not gonna actually leave without letting you know.
Simultaneously, I don't suppose it would be mysterious if maybe a shepherd were to get help from an outside force, if that happens to be around the area that we are venturing about, right, Effie?
Exactly. We are just do-gooding strangers.
I think you two would make really good shepherds, but obviously you don't. Obviously that's a big commitment. I'm not going to make that on you, put you on that, but I will say if you ever did decide to join, I think you'd do very well there.
I'm going to hate myself for making this joke, but while we may not be shepherds, we are thinking about following one, so would we just be sheep instead for the meantime?
Sheep are delicious.
Yes, they are.
I think you have a bit. I think you'd. I don't think you'd be sheep. I think you're more of.
Sheepdogs?
I get. It's. Let's just say we're people. Let's just say we're just people. And in that case. Yeah. Alright. So I guess we'll just happen to be going the same directions then.
I suppose we would.
In that case, it seems like we've formed a new, I guess, partnership. And Darcy will stand up and he'll walk over to Effie. And he'll extend his hand and says, well, I'd like to start over.
Effie will stand up and hold out her hand, which is a difference to the way Darcy had done that last time and she had refused. She'll hold it out herself this.
Darcy will grab her hand and he will say, Ervin Cliffwatcher. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Effie.
She looks to the side, taps her chin or thought, and then tilts her head, is just like,
Effie?
I take it you don't have a last name?
My grandfather never gave me one and never told me his.
What would you want it to be then? If you could randomly pick?
Effie will, without even removing her eyes from Darcy, she'll give a playful little smile at him, still holding eye contact with Darcy, and say,
Ozen, what is your last name?
I knew it.
I had a feeling you were going there.
She gives a little grin. Again, you can see like the spider, more of a spider-like side of her there, because like she's got the little fangs are sharper and longer than a typical person's. And she says,
Well, we are starting with a blank slate. I think all's fair.
If I'm going to be honest, Effie, that sounds kind of like a bit of a, that blank slate of yours has a few scribbles on it.
Oh no,
It's
but
kind of
I'm
like-
saying since it is a blank slate, it is okay for me to do as I wish.
Well, this is gonna be interesting. Let's
For the meantime, what about Audrey's last name?
I think it's Crowley, isn't it? No.
Yeah, it has a nice ring to it, personally.
Well, I mean, a name's. I mean, I've never really put much care into names. You can always.
My last name isn't exactly something I'm proud of either, frankly.
How about?
I'll, I'll see as I go. For now, Effie is just what I've always been called.
And so
That's
be
a
it.
fine name.
Then, Effie and Irvin kind of reaches out a hand towards the both of them, and kind of in a sudden moment, a burst of kind of happiness in that this is something that he wanted that he didn't even entertain because of his habits of entertaining the mercenaries. He kind of pulls them both into one of his arms. Ozen Barris.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Ferris.
Effie will return the hug, giving the back of his shoulder a up and down rub.
Group hugs.
Group hugs. Is
And then
Effie still bothered if Darcy gave her a hug?
The spirit of festivity.
She will. Her arms are like by her sides, and she has just this like look on her face, but she won't push him away.
Awkward
Yeah, we'll get-
Thanksgivings.
We'll get over. Well, we'll get there one day.
Both
And
love me
turning-
and I love both of.
Turning her attention back to Ozen, she'll give a patient smile and say,
So, Ozen, with this blank slate, and us now just being your friends, take your time and think, okay? There is no rush.
Alright.
Sorry, I'm trying not to become choked up again, but thanks, both of you, for really, again, everything. And I know I say that a lot, but I mean it.
You're welcome. And I look at Effie, I'm like, I know you still don't really like me that much, but
Hey, Evan, the accent.
right. I know you don't like me that much, but thank you for coming to talk.
she gives a little nod and looks up towards the ceiling thoughtfully and is just.
I think the reason I didn't want to talk to you for so long is because there was. Well, I suppose this must be that word of jealousy.
Jealousy?
That's the word. I think that I might have been feeling that, and because of that, I didn't want to talk to you. But because, in all honesty, I did not think I was part of this equation at all. But now that I know that I do hold importance,
And she turns her gaze to Darcy again.
I will approach this more confidently.
Alright. I'm glad to hear that. Listen, either way this goes, I don't have any hard feelings towards any of you. I hope you know that, right? I know I was prepared to. I want you to know I was prepared.
So
You
go
too.
away and put on another mask, as you normally.
I think I'd still see you at some point. I
know, but
but
the way that you were acting, it scared me because it felt like you were reverting back to your older coping mechanisms, one could say.
no, it's just more I want to. I assumed something wrong, but I didn't want to get in the way. Like I told you,
Well,
I'm good at bouncing back.
Well, that's the thing. It's easy to bounce back when you rarely hit the surface. You haven't sunken into anything. That's what makes it. There's a difference between bouncing back and being ready for failure. Sorry, I don't mean to get deep. I want you to know, as I let her know, you aren't getting in the way. And that you matter.
And Darcy, for a number of days I was in your shoes, and what you're feeling, I know what that feels like, and it's not a good feeling. And as much as we have our disagreements and don't get along, I don't want your feelings to be hurt, and I don't want you to be sad.
Thank you. I think you're a good person, Effie.
And as I said before, I believe that you're not a bad person either.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, because you guys are probably going to go on for 4 more hours if I don't stop you, you enjoy your night, you've classified everything, you've sorted your shit, and you head to the circus to have a fun night. And that's where we're going to end it, because it's already freaking 10 o'clock my time.
Balance has been
Yay!
restored!